Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to APT.
Yeah.
My name is Ike Onuoha, House of Commons, and to my right,
Damola, House of Commons.
Pascal Atuma, House of Commons.
Enyi, Osuji, House of Commons.
House of Commons.
Alright,
Wow, today we have a very, very interesting topic for you. I mean, in the news lately you've been hearing Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Our question today is, do Black lives really matter? And who would like to go first?
I don't understand the question. Do Black really matter?
Do Black lives really matter?
So, okay, so there's a hashtag that started off on Twitter called Black Lives Matter. Okay. This Black Lives Matter has been pushed.
It's a movement
It's
now.
a movement, but the backdrop is everything that's been happening in the media with not just social media, but just in general in life with the Trayvons and the Oscar grants and all these people that have been, and what's her name, Sandra, there's another young lady.
Sandra.
So this is kind of
that died. She actually died.
She actually died.
Yeah.
So this topic is this basically we're just going to talk about our opinions about this.
Correct.
As far as just in general, whatever you want to say about it.
He's reintroducing the topic.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I don't want to give
It's important that we actually get really specific. We're talking about specifically in the United States of America.
Yes.
Okay, good. We're talking about United States of America.
Bring
Even though
your
we're
perspective.
African Americans,
Okay.
and in our past topics we've talked a lot about our perspective about African Americans and being African Americans. But now, the movement is in America. Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
But our question is, do Black lives really matter?
In the United States of
In the
America.
United States of America.
Okay.
You have to go if you want to go.
You can start.
The answer is no. I think in the United States of America, some people value their dogs more than the life of a black man.
What do they value again? I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? I didn't quite hear you.
Dogs.
The animals.
The animals.
Wow.
The dogs. Okay.
More than a life like my life. In the United States of America, and that's true. From my experiences, that's true. I've lived in the United States for 20 years, and I see how some people treat their dogs compared to how they treat a black person or a black person. So it doesn't really matter. Not over here. I have instances. I can give examples.
We'll go into that. Okay.
I'll say, to me and to us, Black Lives Matter, yes. To the United States of America, does America care about black people? Do Black Lives Matter in the United States of America? I'll probably have to agree with you that black people are not really America's main concern.
No. Wow.
Period.
Yeah.
Enyi.
Unfortunately, the reason why the hashtag exists is because obviously there's a great sentiment that it does not matter. So it's a way to inform people that it does matter. Black lives do matter, obviously. And I think we should also, this is just my personal opinion, we should also touch on the advent of all lives matter and how that kind of plays a role into all this and stuff, and just your opinion on it. So when I say all lives matter, there's also a hashtag that doesn't contradict, but people who talk about Black Lives Matter, who believe in that, feel that it's a way to kind of undermine the fact that Black Lives Matter because of what's going on. We're now we're shifting the focus away from what the issues and what the problems are. But to answer the question, do Black lives really matter in this country? Absolutely not. Never has, and probably never will. So that's something we need. I just want to put that in perspective too. It has never mattered, and it's never been about us. But we have more to talk about.
We'll delve into it, in more details. Well, my opinion about the topic, do Black lives really matter? I think is capital N-O.
Yeah.
The goal of this show is to bring our perspectives and also to bring the realities of what's going on in society today to the attention of our audience, our fans, and we'll make Black Lives Matter in our small way that we can. All right, gentlemen, like you brought a very, very very important point about saying that most people care about animals. They will take care of animals. They will, if they see an animal is getting hurt or about to be run over by a car, versus a black person being run over by a car, they'll save the animal first than the black man. And I think that is true. That is real in America.
It is real. I can go deeper.
Please now go deeper.
I have a good friend of mine that died in Dallas a couple of years ago. He was killed in Dallas. I'm not going to mention his name, but if push comes to shove, I will. And then when he died, we tried to put up an investigation as to who killed him. You know, they pushed everything with the police to push that case. That case up to today was shrugged under the rug. Up to today, we don't know who killed him. He's been very long time ago.
Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
People, all we have is rumors.
Right.
Now, I can mention his name. His name was Damola.
Wow.
He was killed in Dallas, Texas. You can check it.
I guess he's in the far is going to be John Doe.
Yeah.
He was nobody.
So I saw how they handled that case, right? It's like it was just another animal that died. You know, why should we waste
Even less than an animal.
Yeah, why should we waste our taxpayers' money looking into what killed him and who killed him? He was murdered, right? And that's not the first person. There's a couple of other people that I know that's been killed in America, and it's just another life. And
Can
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, you just absolutely opened up a different perspective where my mind wasn't even going at all.
Okay, your mind should go there.
But now let me ask you this.
You see how my hand is?
Yeah, let me ask you
I'm
this.
talking about it. I'm remembering.
Still emotional
Yeah,
about
I'm
That's
remembering everything.
My question is, going with your statement, right? What do you think the value of a black person is in America? Now let me say this, because if a white lady gets murdered,
No,
We get to
you're
the
going
bottom.
too far.
Hold
You're
on.
going too far. If a white lady's dog,
okay, let's say if a white lady gets murdered,
if a white lady's dog gets murdered,
I'm trying to hold
you know, I feel it though.
You're telling this, that's why
You're going too far. I live. You know where I live?
Yeah.
In my unit.
You're the only black man
I'm
in
only
your
black
unit.
in my unit.
Right.
And I've been the only black man in my unit now for 7.5 years.
That you live there.
Where
Wow.
I live. In my unit, everybody in my unit, they have dogs. In every, you know,
Every apartment has dogs.
right? Every it's like a one unit
condo
or
has
seven
dog,
condos. They all have dogs, you know that.
Right.
If somebody unfortunately killed me there, right? And somebody else come and kill one of my neighbor's dogs, right?
Oh, Lord.
The police
Wow.
in North Hollywood, right, will care about finding who killed that dog before they find out who killed me.
it sounds
I'm
funny,
not,
but
it
it's
sounds-
true.
I'm not laughing.
You guys are laughing.
I'm not laughing because the reason why
You guys are taking it like I'm speaking.
I'm not
we laugh,
inside.
we laugh to keep from crying.
Correct.
Okay, but it's
Because it's the truth.
But it is true. You know why I'm saying it? Because I see how they treat the dogs, and I see how some of them look at me.
Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, so I'm sure that if that's any way they can kick me out of that place, they would have kicked me out of that place like that.
Now let me ask this. Why do you think that is though?
Well,
Where does that stem
can I answer that?
Yeah.
Can I answer
Where does that stem from?
Well, that stems from, the problem that we've had all along in America, which is racism. You know, that's just what it is. Even though this is 2015 and we think we've come a long way from racism, what it used to be in the 1800s and 1900s, but the reality is racism is still a big problem in America. That's just what it is. Okay? Now with movement like Black Lives Does Matter, with the push of that organization, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and we as black men, I mean, I will support whatever they're doing because I want to be, I want my life to matter. But it's sad that the reality in America is that nobody gives an F about a black man. Now you mentioned your friend Okafor, who somebody Okafor, right?
Don Okafor.
Well, Don Okafor is even a Nigerian,
Nigeria was-
not even a celebrity. Let's up it up a little bit. Who killed Tupac and Biggie? It is still a mystery. Somebody got shot in the middle of the street in Vegas,
Wow.
Las
Cameras
Vegas,
everywhere.
with cameras everywhere. Nobody still knows who killed Tupac. Are you kidding me?
I just want to know. I want to ask like questions that are going to kind of uproot answers.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Okay.
I'll say this, and this
Okay.
is going to sound extremely shocking. It could, but I didn't actually start learning the African American story until I started the show. I didn't really know the African American perspective until I started this show and started reading comments and researching what these people were saying.
So you do research and read stuff.
Absolutely.
Is that why you're so
Can I-
smart? Oh
No.
I thought. Now I know where your.
No, I'm serious.
No. On a serious note, this is the thing. I struggle with the fact that I know that hundreds of years of oppression, there's something that you said earlier that you keep saying, been saying lately, about us not really valuing what we are and what we know.
Coming
as a
from
people,
Africa.
Coming from Africa. It is, I've met people who, they've never seen, and this is, I'm gonna get to a point, they've never really seen a black person in a regal form before. My grandfather,
Like us, huh?
like us, and I mean that in a very serious way.
Right.
My grandfather, I saw my grandfather in a regal form. I saw both of my grandfathers in a regal form. There's some people have never even seen a black person in a regal form where they're respected as a man in their community.
Wow.
So when we talk about these things, when we talk about the storyline, you see African Americans, they just want to reach out to something that's bigger than just slavery. Not only that, we're lied to consistently. Lied to all the time about what the truth is. The reason why we don't see, that's another problem. I'm a little bit older now, but when I was younger, we were learning bits and pieces of the story. Like you were saying, that's why I really want to touch on this because it's important, because that lack of knowledge is making us not understand certain aspects of it. But where I'm conflicted with is there's a level of personal responsibility that we are not exercising, but that could also be a part of the oppression that we've experienced in this country.
Right.
So it's hard for me to make a statement about this when you look at our society and you look at we weren't allowed to buy homes, we weren't allowed to buy certain things, and it's not about white water fountain and black water fountain. It's deeper than that. And I think that when you don't even know that, it's hard to even begin this discussion. But what my main thing in saying all this is because knowing and understanding that when I go back to that regality, I see African Americans and they're like, just to see that I'm in tears because I'm like, damn, like I've never seen that in my whole life. A black person.
Now, to kind of add on to what you're saying, I would have, from my African perspective growing up, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
I would have been somebody to make a statement like, all lives matter. And then I read somewhere where somebody said, yes, all lives matter, which all lives matter. But the reason why Black Lives Matter movement is important right now is because we need to scream right now about Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
I would have countered that before. But the reason why I now understand why that is important is because psychologically, right?
Yeah.
When you look at the food chain in the United States of America, there's something interesting that's going on right now. As the middle class gets smaller, right, and resources start becoming more limited, right, it becomes survival of the fittest, and you start actually looking at the food chain.
Exactly.
When you look at the food chain in the United States of America, if you're going to be realistic about where people are placed in this society, the Black American is not at the top.
Ever.
Don't know if they're in the middle. They're usually placed in this society at the bottom. It is just the truth.
If everybody's doing bad, black people are always doing worse.
But you
And
know,
We're usually not doing as good as everybody.
Usually, sorry, let me just finish.
Sorry,
Usually, I always look at charity begins at home, which it always does, because we're going to go to that,
Yeah.
right? But one thing that I learned is that, number one, the way African American history started in this country didn't work in their favor. That's number one. Number two, they weren't given anything to rehabilitate into a better life. Like when I hear things like the 40 acres and the mule.
Yeah.
Coming from an African perspective, and I didn't really investigate it, it just sounded like, why can't you just go and do...
You've invested in, you built this country. When
And you have
think about
nothing,
that,
you were
it's-
given
exactly.
nothing. Because
That's-
I always look at, you know, the Asian community, the Jewish community, I
Right.
always look at what they do well and say we should implement it.
Right.
But I understand how hard it is to start a business with no capital. You can walk into a bank as a rich black person.
Yeah.
Chances are you will not get a loan. There's so many things that don't work in your favor. There's so many things that work against you that I didn't really understand until I started hearing people say, you know that we still have not got anything for this.
Go ahead.
Sometimes I blame us. I blame us for our lives not mattering to them that much. I use where I live, for example. I've been there many times, you guys have been there many times. Because I already know what my value is in their eyes.
Yes.
I don't give them the room to step on my toes. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You're not letting anybody box you in.
I don't give them the room, you know, I don't give them the room to carry out their plans. I don't give them the room to say he did this or he did that. Am I making sense? So I live my life so that they can understand that this is not someone to be messed with. So that means if I mess with you, don't mess with me.
Right.
If I haven't broken any rules, don't question me. Remember the day we were at my place when the police came?
Right.
When somebody called and said we were making
Noise.
noise.
We're talking like this.
Yeah.
And we were talking
We're having
just
our
like this.
conversation like this.
When I opened the door, did you hear what I told the police? I insisted that they show me who called.
Yeah, they will never do.
And they refused. Do you know why I wanted them to show me who called? Because I wanted to know that particular person that doesn't like black people because I know we were not making noise. But when the police saw the way we were dressed and looked at us, did they do anything? No. But if they came in there and we were smoking weed, and I would come up there and I would say, which one you want? You know what I'm saying? Start acting ignorant.
Right.
You know something would have happened, right?
Let me say something though, to kind of add to what you're saying. A black man smoking weed and being ignorant
It's
different from somebody else.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm just real.
I didn't want to cut you off.
I'm gonna be real.
I was going to go there with it.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Which is the whole point of this discussion.
Exactly.
Hey, okay, now
Black
we've done
lives
that.
really matter. Okay,
Because we can't go ahead. Go ahead.
True. And okay, from what both of you have said, you know, what you guys said, I think what we need to do, and not just we as just four of us, I'm talking about the black race. We need to get past that slave mentality. Because when I talk with a lot of African Americans that like to point fingers and blame society, blame the government, blame this, they even hate on the fact that Africans come here and they do well. They're like, well, the government gives you guys loans to go to school, you know, they give you guys loans to do the business. I'm like, wow, are you serious, bro? That's how you think? I said, no, look, I think we all get loans. When I was going to school, most of the people that got loans with me, do you know what they did with their loans? They bought rims. And these are people that I go to school with. They bought rims. Me, I didn't know what rims was. They were buying nice rims, and I'm like, wow, seriously? They bought, you know, the latest Jordans back then. With their loans, they did not buy textbooks, they did not use the money to, you know, constructively for what it was meant. But see, the main thing I think would change the way we are treated in society is one, it starts from our mentality. First of all, I guess that's why Africans do so well, or most other races that come to America do so well, because that slave mentality.
This is part of this.
I agree. I disagree.
Look, this is the problem with what you're saying, right? I also agree and disagree for different reasons from you, but this is the thing. When we talk about this, right? It's a very touchy subject because the very foundation that we're going off of, the sense that we're making is coming from a foundation that they've never had.
True.
They've never had that foundation. We were raised in that. Whether you were here, whether you were in San Francisco, whether you were in Ajegule, whether you're in my one, my two, it doesn't matter. You have had this type of foundation. When your story begins
With oppression.
And ends.
and it still not ends.
Still going.
It is perpetually going and still going. You have to be enlightened and conscious enough to know, you know what? I'm a king, I'm a queen. Not that everybody was a king and queen, but
Everybody was.
you're a king and queen.
Exactly.
The mentality is different. And I think that my problem, I feel what you're saying.
So,
Farrakhan,
how is that different from what I'm saying about re-educating ourselves?
One more thing.
Right.
Farrakhan says this, and it's funny because Farrakhan in the 1980s sounded very, very radical, but now he sounds almost moderate, almost kind of like, okay, Farrakhan, we need
Diplomatic.
to... Yeah, exactly. But back then it was like, he was trying to tell us, what are the things that we want? Jobs and justice, right? We as a people, there are plenty of things we can do for ourselves. We watched a video the other day. What's the number 2 export in the United States of America?
Hip hop music.
Black music. Black entertainment is the number 2 export in the United States of America.
Is this a fact?
This is a fact.
I thought it was a joke until I was like, whoa.
This is a $1 trillion industry.
By the way, what is number 1?
I don't know what number 1 is.
Okay.
But it's probably some sort of commodity or some sort of thing that I don't know. But black entertainment is number 2 export, and we don't own it at all.
Are you serious?
But here's the thing I want to say.
And it's not about not owning or not owning.
Make it, but don't own it.
What are we doing?
Let me say this. And the reason why we're probably not going to have really good points on this topic because we didn't experience the Black America. So we really can't have that many.
No,
We don't really have
can't.
opinions
can't.
that we have our opinions, but it can't really touch their story really because we don't
I'm
really know.
Nigerian.
No,
It's hard for
you
me.
shouldn't touch this sort of, look, LD, I guess I don't.
Let me just say why I agree
finish
and
this and I
disagree,
finish that
right?
out. Yeah.
The reason why I agree and disagree about the mentality thing
Yeah.
is because the truth of the matter is there's capital behind freedom. There is support behind freedom. There is access behind freedom. There's a lot of things that you need in this country especially to be free.
White privilege, just what
And-
Pascal, are you looking for your notes or?
No, I'm looking for the top
And-
exports.
and-
Exports.
From my perspective, of course the mentality, we're gonna go to the charity begins at home because I'm the #1 advocate for charity begins at home. But the first thing that I look at is the foundation of how you can even get yourself out of a situation as a bigger group. Because we see, don't get it twisted, there's successful African
There's
Americans.
pockets of successful.
But
African
as a
Americans,
collective,
yes, as a group.
I don't know if America, and I did not know this, I'm not in the front, if America has given the black community for what they did for this country enough support to excel.
Why would they?
Okay, wait, well, okay, you finish your point.
Why
No,
would-
hold on, hang on a second. Okay.
No, it's something to say.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, in our day and age, all the black African Americans that you deal with, how many of them were slaves?
What?
0.
What?
How many of them were
How many
actual
of them?
slaves?
Let him-
Yes, how many of them, the people in our day and age, how many of the African Americans or the black people that you deal with were slaves, physical slaves?
Are you talking about chains?
Now,
Are you talking about
now, physical slaves, yes, chains and on all.
That worked on
and working
plantation.
for plantation. How many?
Uh-huh.
0. You know my point? But they have the mentality that is keeping them back and is still affecting them. It shouldn't be so. That's my point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
my point is, you know what schools are doing? What they, even till tomorrow, they're trying to get rid of. They're trying to get rid of African studies, African history, and things like that. It's wrong. The Caucasian community, or the so-called masses that control society, want to eradicate our past. Is wrong. We should know our past. but we shouldn't be defined by our past. That's my point.
I agree.
And once you start re-educating yourself and getting rid of all this mental slavery and blocks, then that's the true freedom.
Chief,
But you see, from what he said, and I just googled what he said, right? This is what I given. You want to read it?
electronic equipment, vehicles, aircraft, oil, medical, gems, plastic, organic chemicals, pharmaceuticals, machines.
Let me tell you why.
The most.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What did somebody? Can I just make a quick little point on the side on that?
Mm-hmm.
What happened when what happened when Michael Jackson died? What were people saying when Michael Jackson died?
But when I worked at the bank, I had somebody who came. When I worked at the bank, somebody came from Spain.
Okay.
And he was really. This is an educated Spanish man. Really, really sad. And he told me, it's really unfortunate for the United States of America that you guys have to go through this recession. Because you have to bury Michael Jackson. He thought, no, really. I'm not joking. I'm gonna say why this is important. The branding, the marketing, the excitement of the United States of America is built on African Americans.
Black people!
It's a fact.
Golly!
It's a fact.
True.
But here's the thing, here's what we shouldn't stray away from. The point is, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I'm serious. Usually, I will be the first to say, African Americans need to blah, 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 blah. I cannot deny, though. This happened to me once at a job, right? I'm the black guy that works at the job. The one black guy that works at the job. A black guy was interviewing, right? I saw him, and I went to my desk, and I was like, at first, I'm not in the front. In my mind, I'm like, oh, they're going to bring another black guy here. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Competition.
Don't jump. It's true.
Really?
Yeah.
But the first thing, you know it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true.
Immediately I was like, you know what? That's a good thing, right? Immediately I adjusted my mind. I was like, you know what? That's a good thing. Make sure this happens. They come to after they interview him. They come to my desk. They show me his resume. The truth of the matter is, the job that they want to hire him for, he wasn't qualified for on his resume, right? But I didn't say anything, right? They said, "What do you think?" You know the first thing that they told me? They said, "He even speaks clearly." He even speaks clearly, is what I was told. Now, just think about this. The depth of that statement. He even thinks clearly. So before you even approach, you already think.
You already prejudge.
You already believe he's not even affluent enough to have this conversation.
Look at it, he's black! In America!
Job is this the bank job or computer job?
This is something in multimedia.
Okay,
He was going to be doing operations. And
Okay.
his work history, right, was in the military. He did operations in the military, but he didn't understand. But nonetheless, because I know the scope of the job, I know it takes 2 weeks for you to know what you're doing, right? As long as you have common sense. But the first statement that was made is he even speaks clearly.
So
Before
they end
you
up
walk-
hiring him.
when you
Before
When you walk through the door,
it didn't happen.
When you walk through the door, they were already prejudged.
Already.
That's
Already.
a fact, though.
Now,
You should know that.
the reason why this is an important topic, and the reason why nowadays it's harder for me to just pinpoint the problems in the African American household is because I want people to try this. If you go on Google Images, make up any African American male name. Think of one. Tyrone
Trayvon.
Jackson.
Tyrese.
Just make the cliches up. First name, last name. Go to Google Images. The stuff that you will see
Malik Yoba.
is football and mugshots. Football and mugshots. You can try it whenever you want.
Wow.
The reason why I bring that up is this. I usually don't take this route, I swear. I always want to hold people accountable for this stuff. But there's already a system set up for you to fail. Now that the resources are getting smaller,
But that's a
you
fact.
will
though.
fail even more.
That's a fact. though.
Oh, okay, that's
guess-
where I'm gonna come in. Now. That's why I say we have to change it. We don't need for them to change it. I give you an example.
Nobody will change it for you if you don't change it though.
We're discussing something in the car, right? I'm coming over here and I was telling you guys, I've been in this country for 20 years. I've only worked for them for only a year and 8 months. That's what I was telling you guys. Now, why did I, after a year and 8 months in this country, I said I'm not working for anybody else? Because I felt like I rather fell on my own than make you richer. I don't try. If whatever it is gonna be, let it be. You don't understand what I'm saying? Now, if they have the economic power, they have the political power, they have the social power, they control what you see on TV, they control what you hear on radio. The radio station, it might be a black station, but who owns it?
Talking about that, BET just gave Sam Smith an award.
Am I making?
When you're done, I want to add something to what you're saying.
Am I making sense? I'll give you an example. ESPN First Take. What's that boy's name that I like?
Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith will speak and speak and speak. And sometimes when he wants to say something, what's the other guy?
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless is saying, be careful. Do you know why he tells Stephen A. to be careful?
Don't get too real.
He's indirectly saying, nigga, remember, this shit is not yours.
Wow. Can I say something? Have you seen? Okay, there's a clip. Who's the guy that does Empire? Lee Daniels, right?
Yeah.
Lee Daniels had a sit down with other writers and other directors. Candidly, who was like, "How many black people are on your show or that are under your staff?" Excuse me. How many black people are on your? And y'all know that Empire is like 85%, 90% black. Like not just the screen.
The actors.
No.
Not just the screen.
Not just the behind the scenes. He's hiring black folks behind the scenes too. So this is the thing. And this is something that I know black folks is kind of an unpopular thing to say. Think about this though. White folks we're not even really on their radar unless they really need us like that.
True.
We're not on their radar like that.
Okay.
They don't care like that.
But that's what I'm saying. But Enyi,
We're not on their radar like they don't care like that.
Enyi, we can get on that radar if we come together.
That's what we're talking about. That's the point of
Let me
this
say one
show.
But that's what I'm
That's
saying.
the point of our
Because
conversation.
it doesn't matter what color you are.
I don't even think it's about being on their radar or not though.
Let me say this. This is why, this is, and I'm gonna go back to what I said. The reason why I now understand why Black Lives Matter is important is because I am finally realizing that in this country, black people have been put at the bottom of the food chain from the very start. So the only way you can actually gauge the success of Black America is if you at least give them a chance to compete.
Okay,
Right?
let me ask you.
Now hold up.
I refuse that.
Wait, hold
Who's
on.
gonna give you the chance?
Hold up. Everybody else gets a chance.
Yeah, that's
Everybody
true.
gets a chance.
Everybody else did not work in this country for free.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah,
Hold up.
exactly.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Wait.
That's where I'm coming from.
Wait.
I agree with you.
Relax.
Let him finish.
Wait, relax.
Let him finish.
Chance.
Yes, everybody needs a fair chance to compete. If they fail, then you can say you failed. But if you've based their whole life on oppression,
Yeah.
you cannot ever really complain about their failures.
And then I'm sorry, Pascal, then you lie. Then you lie and add other things to it.
One at a time. One at a time. Wait till you finish. Let Pascal.
Can you leave this at the story?
Let me finish.
Please.
Then you guys mentioned, this is where it goes back to the black community, right? I had an argument about church the other day. Somebody posted a picture and it showed the black churches, billionaires, millionaires,
Yeah,
You mean the ministers?
ministers got
everybody.
cake,
Okay.
money, right? This is my question about Black Lives Matter. I told somebody straight up, I said, I do not support any pastor that has $500 million, $50 million if you don't even have a free clinic.
Something.
Something! Because I want to say something about something important. You said black people are not on white people's radar. Number one, I don't wake up in the morning thinking about the well-being of a white guy. So I don't want or expect any white guy to wake up in the morning and think about me. Everybody has to go out and get their own. The only difference in the black life in the United States of America is they've always been oppressed to the point where it's like somebody has to help. You have to kind of help you get something.
Okay, you have to
hold
acknowledge
on.
the existence of it.
Exactly. It's not a white guy's responsibility.
It isn't.
Thank you.
And I don't want to mention
Thank you,
white
Pascal.
people.
But it's important for everybody to be aware of what's
It's
going
okay.
on.
It's okay.
Okay, can I come in now?
Please.
I'm gonna look to the camera and say this one.
Uh-oh.
If we And if you, I'm talking about black people, in America and around the world, you are waiting for someone to give you a chance. My brother, my sister, you're gonna wait for a long time. It just sounds like, you know, I use Hollywood for example. It's like a black guy, let's assume from Texas or from Atlanta, coming into Hollywood, and you want to wait for them to give you a chance.
I have something to say. After he's done, I got something to say.
Okay. So, what I'm going to say is this. The reason why we formed this show, right? Is to address, educate, entertain, and expose.
And things like this.
Yeah.
Things like this.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
What I'm saying is this. Like I said before when we talked about the Lamar Odom issue,
Yeah.
black people should wake up, come together, and handle business.
Okay.
Respond, please. Yeah.
Pascal, let's go on a race, right? But before we start the race, let me just shoot you in your foot real quick. Bow! Cool, real quick.
Exactly.
Let me shoot you in the foot real quick, and then as you're trying to get up, I'm gonna slap you a couple times while you there too. I'm gonna run a little bit, I'm gonna come back and slap you one, I'm gonna drop kick you a couple more times. Make sure you don't get up no more. You ain't getting up.
Don't forget, there's also needles and nails on the floor.
There's nails in the floor. I'm gonna put some little landmines on there for you so you don't get there. Mind you, I'm gonna put hurdles where you at. I'm running straight through.
Oh, you forgot one thing. I'm also going to tell you that the door that you can run through is like this, and the one I can run through is like this.
Is it like this?
I'm going to put every obstacle in your front.
Are we finished?
No. I'm not done. Because the reason I know y'all get what I'm trying to say, but let me just elaborate.
The race is not fair.
Come on.
The race is not fair.
not fair.
It is not
It's
fair.
just not.
One at a time, please. Okay.
It's just not. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. All I'm trying to say is, I hear what you're saying. Accountability. You need to be sense of agency. I respect that, and I think that's really important, and we need that. We don't have enough of it, but I don't know.
Okay, good. All right.
I don't know.
But the reality of this conversation is that we already know this. This is what being black you're up against, right?
Yes, but
so how do you get out of it? Or how do you get over
You
it?
need to acknowledge what is going on.
That is what
we don't acknowledge it when we say.
Can I finish?
Okay, let me
No, one more thing I want to say. I'll let you finish.
Okay,
Are you sure this is coffee?
Hey, you're too passionate.
I just want to say something real quick because I'm going to forget it. That's what I'm going to say.
No, you're not going to forget it. What?
Say it.
No, I want to say this. Let me say it one more time.
Let
Let me say it. When that lady that was the master's degree lady, that her son got the book and it said immigrant workers. When we're still lying about the story, when we can't even acknowledge what actually happened, where can we go?
Okay, have you said it?
What can we go?
But look, we're having this conversation, right? It's not like we don't know the facts. We know the facts. The fact that you're born black means there's a lot stacked up against you.
A lot of others.
It's already there. Just the fact that you are black. We know Serena Williams makes $10 million less than Maria Sharapova.
But Maria Sharapova is not
Or put it in another way, Maria Sharapova makes $10 million more in endorsements than Serena Williams. But who's number one in tennis and who's been number one for years and who has more, titles to her belt? Serena Williams. So it's a fact. We know this.
Chief, but
My problem or my concern or my conversation is that it's about time we take it to another level. We don't let all these hurdles that has already been put in front of us or against us hold us back anymore. Starting from where? Our mentality.
I agree, absolutely. The thing I'm going to say again though, when you look at the Asian community, when you look at the Jewish community, when you look at these communities who are in the United States of America, they have financial support and financial backing. It is a fact. I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm the first advocate of charity begins at home. But what he mentioned is true. Support is extremely important.
LD.
And it's not about you waiting for somebody to give you a chance. But this is the truth. When you're on this 8-man race and you're looking at the next guy has spring shoes, you look at the next guy has a skateboard. The next guy has a scooter. This guy basically has a car, and you're here with
no shoes.
no shoes. You have to make sure that you unlock this door first. There's so many things that you have to do to even start running.
Okay, in a quick response to you, what I hear you say, or what I think you were saying is, as a black race or a black community, we should come together to help ourselves
Of course.
more to get this economic power.
Of course.
And that's where, in our last conversation, we were talking about the black leaders, the black leaders, the community, the MBA association, the this association. That's the thinking, that's where it should start. Like the Asians you mentioned now, they have their own banks to help Asian businesses.
Do you know where it starts?
We need to, first of all, as individuals, decolonize our thinking. Then we can come together as a race, as a black race, and help each other.
The black church is failing black people in this country.
Thank you. Say it louder. Say it again, louder.
The black church in the United States of America, for the most part, there are churches who are giving a lot of hope. That's great. But let's be real, yo. Hope does not pay rent. For the amount of money that a lot of black churches are collecting from their congregations every week, there needs to be accountability on black churches. I did not know this until I realized how much black churches make. I worked in economic development. I'm sorry to do this, but I worked in economic development for a lot of time, for a lot of years. And there's specific cities that I'm not going to mention. We might be in the city right now.
Can you mention it, please?
No, I won't do that for the sake of that city. But I saw them planning out the city. This is where they were gentrifying Los Angeles, and they were moving people from Los Angeles. They were moving African Americans, basically minorities, from Los Angeles to this city. The first things that they built in these cities: Section 8 homes, liquor stores and churches.
And pawn shops.
Pawn shop?
Liquor stores,
Liquor stores.
Right. Churches.
Do you know why? Because we already know this is your hamster wheel. And the black churches, these people go out to work, give these black churches money. What services are black churches?
Well,
if Black Lives Matter to the world, what do Black Lives Matter to black people in this country?
Thank you, LD. That's
to be real.
Pascal, can you come in, please?
Can we just go to conclusion, please?
Yeah, let's go to conclusion. We'll deal with that. Correct.
For me, picking on what LD said, I never thought about the black churches and their effect in the society except now. Because I believe in God, but I don't believe in some people using the less smart people
It's the greatest hustle ever.
to achieve wealth and now not put the word back into the community.
At all.
Because they preach that God says give 10% tithe. And the church is investing 10% of what they're getting from that community into that community.
Zero.
Exactly.
Right? So actually we can't sit here and blame white people.
At all.
Because if you talk about, this is my conclusion, if you talk about all the operation and all the hurdles, we already, let's use a ship, a floating ship for example. We already have black people who have been able to leave that water and get in the ship. Why can't they remove their hand from the ship and pull other black people up? If they're able to pull more black people into the ship, don't you think we have a lot of black people in the ship? So what I'm saying is this, we should stop blaming people, and since we have figured out a way of those things that can bring money into the community, into the black community, like the churches, right? Like liquor stores. We have to drink, right?
But we don't even own them.
We don't own them. So can we try to own them, and can we try to put in things all the ones? Okay, it goes back to what I keep saying before. All the black people that have made it, instead of going to the white communities to build your businesses, can you come to the black communities and build those businesses and invest?
Wow.
So that we can develop those black communities and have some black managers managing your businesses. And what does it take to go to school? 4 years, you have a degree. If there's any part that you don't think there's a black person qualified, you're a millionaire, multi-millionaire. You can put up $10 million college fund. Let some black people who are very smart send them to that particular course to study. So what I'm saying, let us develop our communities, let us develop our own people, so we can matter. Good.
Absolutely. From my conclusion, and I'm gonna say it again, I've learned a lot from sitting on this couch and just talking. I've read comments. I did not know the African American experience at all. And this is not, the grand scheme of African American experience, but for the most part, this is what a lot of African Americans deal with. Black Lives Matter, absolutely, to blacks, to the world. The system in the United States of America, it seems like they've put blacks at the bottom of the food chain, and it keeps on going. And I'll be honest, there are certain systems that make money off black people being at the bottom.
A lot of systems.
There's a prison system. There's a lot of systems that depend on black people suffering.
Let's put it this way:
to exist.
every social
It's just a fact.
makes money off of the black community.
So that is one thing that I cannot deny that I have learned and seen statistics time and time again. But to kind of go over what he said and to connect to what Enyi said, I'm going to tell the truth. I don't wake up in the morning thinking about the next white guy's meal. I think about mine, my family, my friends, that's it. And the same thing goes for a white guy. Nobody wakes up thinking about the next racist meal. It's a fact. And I don't want anybody to think about me. The only reason why I say it's important that we actually understand where the black American is coming from is because the truth of the matter is they have not been put in a fair race. It's just the truth. But to piggyback on what Pascal says, I am the biggest advocate of black people coming together as a unit and working as if there is no competition out there, because you are the only one that can save yourself.
Yep.
We put this show together on our budget.
Didn't wait on nobody.
We didn't wait on anybody. We kind of find an opportunity. We're doing what we're doing.
Right.
But black people come together, you know, help each other. There's a lot of work that we need to do, and I think we should start being responsible and start acting like we actually give a shit about black lives before the outside will give a shit. And last but not least, you black churches, if your doctrine is based on God and faith, God will judge you for what you are doing to the black race in this country if you're not doing what you're doing, what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, Enyi. I'm the moderator. Let me go last.
Okay, go for a conclusion.
I don't know how to conclude this, but it's really tough because accountability is big with me, because you control, you as a man, you need to control your life. But I understand situations. I understand the fact, as a black man, I can't take off. That's why I got into arguing. People talk about LGBT. I respect it, I understand it, but I can't wipe off my skin tone. I'm black. When I step on the street, I'm black. I may be African, and I may not understand the African American experience 100% because, and that's something I will say though, I'm not going to sit there and act like I know everything about the African American experience. Why? Because I've been in my village. And it's not to like stunt or nothing like that. I just know I don't want to put myself out there to be that person. But what I will say is, as a people, as a black man, as an African man, I really, really want us to take accountability. You look at places like Atlanta. There's actually, you see just a little bit of black commerce, a little bit of black business, a little bit of blacks pouring into black. You see what the benefits are when we put into ourselves and build and develop ourselves. Yet I understand the fact that we're oppressed and we have been oppressed, and the mentality, and we've talked about this before. Africans, we constantly talk about how, oh well, African Americans is African American that. How about we go back to Nigeria and just take a quick gander at the way we operate our own business?
Should we have an episode about do Black Lives Matter in Nigeria?
Yeah, okay. Because when I'm looking at certain videos of politicians fighting, like we're in the streets, like just, and I'm not saying that that's like another conversation, because like we start to talk about, is that really what we're supposed to be? But that's like a whole other thing. I don't want to get into that. That's like a whole other discussion about what we should be doing, how we should be doing it, and what we're adopting from other cultures and Western whatever. But I think that a lot of this is not, we're not looking at it holistically. Not y'all, but I'm just saying in general. I want to add this, because you guys have said everything else. I agree with everything else you guys are saying. But one thing I want to say is that we're not discussing the soiled up soil we have, the home soil that is soil that is dirty, the dirty home soil. We don't address that enough. we're quick to talk about what they're not doing correctly.
Who's the African American?
African Americans, but we never talk about what we're not doing correctly.
That's why I made sure I asked, are we talking
Okay,
about Black
yeah,
Lives
good,
Matter
good.
in America?
Okay,
That's what I'll end with that.
Okay,
Because today is America.
I'll end with that.
That is
Oh, yeah.
Nigeria.
Okay.
That's a different
Good.
ball.
That's a different discussion. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me conclude.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
good point. Well, guys, thank you very much for your conclusion. This has been a great topic. Great. I mean, the topic today was, does Black lives really matter?
In America.
In America, that was a question, and even though if you've watched the whole show, you understand that where we went with this whole conversation. Black lives don't matter, and we explained some things why it doesn't matter, or why Black people are where they are as a community, as a race, as individuals. What we should do is what my brothers have said: form that whatever camaraderie, or help each other
Business
as
partnership.
an organization, as a unit. Well, first of all,
Sacrifice.
change your mentality or decolonize your thinking. First of all, number one, decolonize your thinking. Stop looking at the white man this, the white man that, the white man this, the white man that.
Educate yourself. I'm sorry.
First of all, get your mind right. One. Number two, operate as a unit. Because remember in the Bible when the people had one language and they were building a tower a Tower of Babel. They were building a tower
Babel.
to the
heavens,
right? Oh, I say Babel, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's Babel, right?
It don't
Tower
matter.
of Babel.
That's
Okay,
good.
thank you very
Very
much. So
good.
they bring a Tower of Babel to the skies, and what was the thing that disunited them? Language. When was it God or the angel didn't want them to go get to the heavens, and they put some misunderstanding in their language. Once that language was gone, the tower crumbled. So as a Black unit, as a people, we should have one language, and that one language is we are all Black. Being Black is not a choice. It's not a choice that we make ourselves. We were born that way. See, every other thing, that's why I tell people being gay or being LGBT is not the same thing as being Black.
But Black is not a monolith. It's not a one thing. That's a problem.
True. You were born this way. You had no choice. Your parents might have had choice, but you as a person had no choice in the color of your skin. So, we were born Black. Okay. In this whole conversation, I just think to take us out of the place where society and the so-called other race has put us, we have to re-educate ourselves and decolonize our thinking, and that way, individually, once we are free, we can now collectively, as a unit, free the Black race. And I think that's the way that we can now matter in society, and Black life will then matter. That's my conclusion, guys.
APT?
House of Commons?
Yes.
Yes.